Welcome back to Alcohol Content. What is going on? We are here with you drinking some whiskey. Don't touch my glass of water. Okay,
Don't worry about your
this
glass
is
of
my
water.
space. So we got some single barrel action going on here. All right, folks. But before we get into it, who we drinking with? We got Ryan.
The water toucher.
Yeah, the water toucher.
What?
Stay away from my liquid. Thank you.
Wow.
Don't worry about your water, dude.
My agua. Okay. We got Rick.
Yay.
And you got me, the protector of water. And so what are we drinking today, boys?
We're drinking a little American bourbon, John J. Bowman.
We found one.
Yeah, we've had John J. Bowman, but out in our neck of the woods, we couldn't find the 100 proof, the single barrel or whatever.
Okay.
And we're able to find one. We had to travel to a different state to get it. But we did get it. So this is not, it's not new for some of you out there. You've been talking about, lauding this, saying it's good stuff. So we haven't had a chance. So we just opened it up, poured off screen. And we haven't tasted it. We haven't smelled it yet or anything, but here's the lore. There's information, potentially misinformation. Bottom line is John J. Bowman is owned by Sazerac Company. Buffalo Trace is owned by Sazerac Company. John J. Bowman, this is not their distillate. They're in Virginia. And so the strong rumor is that it's Buffalo Trace distillate.
Ooh.
And I think it probably is. However, depending on, I've read sources that say they think it's Mash Bill 1 from Buffalo Trace, and several sources say they think it's Mash Bill 2 from Buffalo Trace. But what we can say is this is triple distilled, and the rumors have it that it's twice distilled with column stills at Buffalo Trace, and then shipped to Virginia and distilled. Its last distillation is in the John J. Bowman copper
Pot still.
pot stills. Yes, exactly. Which I'm excited because the whole copper pot still that's the Irish thing,
Yeah.
if you will, and it always gives it to me a good mouthfeel and stuff like that. Yeah, it's old school, exactly. So we don't know. In theory, this has been aged 9 to 10 years. Okay. But again, not a lot of true transparency, and everything I said could be wrong. But I did due diligence and checked many different sources.
And we do, this one in particular is a single barrel select.
And it's
the John J. Bowman is a single barrel bottling.
Okay.
Yes.
We happen to get a store pick
Okay.
single barrel one. 'cause that
Barrel
was the only one available.
003. Barrel 003.
Yeah.
All right.
So
let's get into it.
Which we've had the regular
Yeah.
Bowman Brothers
Yeah.
before, and it did kind of have Buffalo Trace vibes to it, but like a lighter version, which would make sense.
Yeah.
And on the smell on this, at first I was getting a cherry, like a chocolate covered cherry. And now the more I smell it, the more kind of Buffalo Tracy it smells.
See,
that's sort of unique, yeast or whatever.
Yeah, that kind of thick, creamy cherry wood.
I don't know if I've ever experienced this, but the faster that I smell it, the sweeter it gets. Like,
you mean you're saying speed's got something to do with
speed?
it?
I think it was
speed of smelling.
Speed has everything to do with it. If I do like a nice slow draw, it's really earthy and a little funky. But then I start speeding that up, put it on the gas pedal on that nostril. Now that's sweet. Cherry notes. I kind of get to what you were saying with like the cherry notes, but it's definitely sweeter the faster I sniff. So hot tip, vary the speed of your sniffs. Okay. From your bourbon master
Wow.
here.
That's something you're not going to hear anywhere else.
Yeah.
Vary the speed of
what
your
you're
sniffs.
saying is you're a sniff snob.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not a lot of people are going to really realize, but the volume and speed of air going into your nostril actually changes what it smells like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
this guy.
And it sounds different.
I'm finding out, it smells completely different through the ear.
But it smells good.
It does.
It has a great
the nose on it. It's really, really. I'm picking up a little earwax.
Yeah, great.
No,
Yeah.
Somehow I'm also picking up Rick's earwax.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
What did you do with these glasses?
Try
beforehand?
sniffing it more quickly, and you might get some boogers.
Oh,
how's that?
All right. So
it is smells. It's a nice smell, but the more I sniff on it, and I haven't tasted it, it's more and more cloyingly sweet on the nose.
Yeah, the first sniff was the best, I think. Because that was just like a light, desserty. It was sweet, but it wasn't like thick, creamy. Now it smells thick and creamy.
Wow, on the nose, that is like a slap to the face of cherry sweetness. This actually reminds me of 1792. It's like 1792 with its cherry really far forward, like the full proof.
It's
like that.
very cherry.
Yeah. That was a lot on the first taste, and it was kind of an intense experience. Wow.
This reminds me more of Buffalo Trace than the regular Bowman Brothers.
Yeah, for sure.
This is thicker. This is more along the lines of like Blanton's Eagle Rare.
See, I wouldn't say Eagle Rare.
Dude, Eagle Rare is pretty cherry.
Yeah, but that's a little bit more like bourbon-y. Like I would say it's more quintessential kind of bourbon flavor, where the Blantons, obviously, I would push this towards Blantons much more.
Blantons and Taylor.
Thickness, yeah.
P.H. Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah, this is sweet. I mean,
yeah, it is.
If you like sweet bourbon, this is gonna be up your alley. It's a little intense.
Although I'm picking up more wood for sure on it in a good way to balance that sweetness than I remember from most Blantons. Again, Blanton's is single barrel, so it depends on the barrel.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm not a huge fan of this. This is too much for my palate.
It's a lot.
And the wood is there to balance it, but to balance that much sweetness requires a lot of wood as well. And that my tongue is astringent with wood. I feel like it's dry.
You think it's a little tannic?
Yeah.
Interesting.
When it's sitting around. I like the flavor, but it's kind of just too much of all of the flavor.
It's intense, for sure. They're cranking it up.
This might grow on your palate as you kind of start muting things. I bet you this will get better.
Well,
I would hope so.
Again,
or the wood.
We just cracked it
up.
too, so sometimes the bottle breathes a little bit and stuff like that. I don't think I mentioned the price. I think the MSRP, or we got it for $49, so it's about a $50 bottle.
Now that does kind of puts it in an interesting bracket, because what I just said, I would probably say the same thing about Blantons at this range. I know we tried it once before. I don't remember what podcast we did Blanton. Oh yeah, it was. We did an episode of is it better than Blantons? Can we find a replacement?
Mm-hmm.
And we actually ended up liking it, but it was so heavy.
Yeah.
And this, for how cheap it is, and you guys have had a hard time finding it too. So
it used to not be hard to find. It used to be just on the shelves and easy peasy. And I would say this would be a really good alternative to find if you can't find Blantons. But now it's as hard to find as Blantons, at least for us.
In our area.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to, I still have not seen any in this state. We had to go to a different state.
Yeah.
And even then got super fortunate that they just put it out. And we went to two liquor stores.
Recently.
Yeah, no, like
it used to just be on the shelf within like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was just sitting there.
We went, and one liquor store opened up, and we were there, and it wasn't on the shelf. And then within 10 minutes of the store opening up, 15, they put several bottles on the shelf, and it was a limit of one. We went to another liquor store, and they had a table where it was sitting because there was a sign, and there wasn't anything there. I mean, and that was 30 minutes later, at different liquor stores. So at least in our neck of the woods, this is hard to come by. I have no idea. We'd like to know comments-wise if people,
get back
in
if
Virginia
this is
and
an
stuff.
easy find for you, then I would say it's probably pretty necessary to have one.
Yeah, just for my palate and the wood, like how I was saying, maybe it'd grow on you. The wood is growing, and I don't like it. I do not like bourbon when the wood just gets exponential. And for me, when that wood starts to grow, the sweetness doesn't add anything. It just kind of turns into something that's not very enjoyable for me.
See, as of
Fair
right
enough.
now, I know what you're saying, and I agree with what's happening, but I found it too sweet. So as this wood grows a little bit, it's actually cutting through the sweetness. So I'm actually enjoying it more now.
Yeah.
After a few sips. But if it keeps going, then
Yeah.
it'll overbalance the other way. But yeah, I don't know. This is an interesting bottle because it's priced reasonably, but it's hard for us to find. And it's along the lines of Buffalo Trace, which people love. Like that's the People's Choice Awards of bourbon.
Yeah.
And so it would be really popular with almost everybody, I feel like.
Ooh.
But the fact that it's hard to find, at least for us,
Yeah.
you know.
If you can find it and you like,
I'm glad we have one.
And you
Yeah.
like Buffalo Trace, and
Yeah.
if you can find it,
then
then
this is your
for
bottle.
sure go. If I mean, for $49 or $50, it's good. Do we want to? We don't have to. We could pull down. So again, what I don't like is the lack of transparency. So again, I know some people go, "Oh, it's Mash Bill 1 of Buffalo Trace," but I found equal number of like reading sources and stuff that say it's Mash Bill 2, and that makes a difference because Mash Bill 1 is going to be like Eagle Rare, E.H. Taylor, benchmark for the lower end or whatever, but then Stag Junior, regular Buffalo Trace, the flagship, and then if it's Mash Bill 2, that's the Elmer T. Lee, the Blantons, the Rock Hill Farms, Ancient Age for the lower end or whatever, and then Hancock's. So I can't. It'd be sort of interesting to me. This is tasting quite a bit like E.H. Taylor small batch right now.
Yeah.
Which E.H. Taylor small batch MSRP is about $50.
Yeah.
But the problem is a lot of people can't ever find it. They have to pay secondary prices. So
I like this more than E.H. Taylor small batch. I'll throw that out.
Well, I think it's been aged longer, and again, it's been another distillation in a copper still.
And I would
definitely
throw
can
this
take-
up to Blanton's. Like this and Blanton's, I would say are neck and neck. And if it's cheaper than Blanton's, then
Yeah.
okay,
But
fair
you
enough.
don't get a horse, bro.
you don't get a
You
horse.
don't get a horse, man.
Hey, horses are expensive. But
You got a
can,
few
like, we
horses
can-
in the back.
We could like maybe duct tape some moose antlers on here or something.
what you do is you just have
Some
one
caribou
Blanton-
antlers.
Oh,
You get one Blanton's cork, and then you just put it in this bottle.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it's good, Question mark?
Good.
but it's not mind blowing, and it's for the hassle that we've had to get it.
Yeah.
It's not worth that much hassle.
but if you are a Buffalo Trace fan and you can find this,
it's a good alternative.
$50, that's a great price
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I'd pick it up every single day if you're a Buffalo Trace fan.
Well,
But
there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
I ain't buying it, but if you're a fan of Buffalo Trace, if you're a fan of Blanton's, things like that, then maybe you should go out and try and find this bottle. It's just not up my alley. So go ahead, press that little thumbs up, whoopsh, and then hit that little whoopsh share button. Every single time you do it, you should also make that sound effect. It makes it way better and fun. I do that with
Comment to
everything.
tell Austin that he's just wrong and can get out of town.
I don't know about that. If I'm wrong, go ahead, comment it. Let me, give me all the negativity. I thrive off of it. I'll be sure to respond to you in a very pleasant way. But outside of that, we're done here. Peace out.